Hi guys, today I'm doing my Team Edward look, or my Midnight Sun look. Sorry it took a lot longer than originally planned. I've gone through maybe 25, 26 different eyeshadow versions for this look, and the first 20 reminded me way too much of Team Jacob. I tried to do like the Cullen eyes with, the butterscotch and hazel, and it just looked way too much like my Team Jacob look. So I decided to go a different route, and then I was thinking it was too much like the bad vampires, but in the end I decided to stop thinking and just do what I had originally planned because I thought it fit the best. So I'll explain it a little bit. The center is a white silvery just because it's the most dominant part of Edward to me, with his eyes, the first thing that Bella really noticed, and I wanted that just to pop. The silver is kind of to be a reference to how hard of stone he is and how his skin's cold and ice and it's not welcoming, but his heart is what makes it welcoming. And his heart is kind of the pink color. It's kind of come back to life after meeting Bella. And the rusty red is to kind of incorporate the real truth. He's a vampire. He's not supposed to be safe. It's a dangerous part of Edward, and that's what I wanted to make sure it came across, that we're foregoing all of the bad part because his heart is, what everyone falls in love with. So this is my Team Edward look. First I put an eye primer on. I use Too Faced eyeshadow wear insurance, but you can use any eye primer you want. And then I'm taking Milk from NYX Jumbo Pencil, and this is just so I can get a white base. Any white base would do, any kind of eyeliner, whatever you have at home or you want to use. I'm also going to put a little bit in the inner corner and just put it, lightly on my eyelid. You can use your finger to smudge this out. I'm going to use my smudger brush just so I can kind of direct more where this is going to go. And I'm just kind of blending this across my eye. And kind of blending it out and up. On the outer corner here, I'm just kind of making it be the highest point. You can tell on this side that's where the highest point is. So I'm kind of making the white be almost like an outline for the rest of my look. And then I'm just blending everything else out and up. On the inner corner, I'm just going to take and kind of just take this white and go on the bottom a little bit. And then taking my finger to heat up and kind of melt almost the inner corner so it's not so vibrant white. Because the rest is going to have color over it. And so is the inner corner, but it's going to be the least amount of covered. As you can tell here, that's where the brightest point is. So that's going to be the least covered, like I said. Then I'm going to be taking, this is from NYX, and it's called Silver. I'm using this wet. You really are not supposed to, but this just came out easier when I used it wet. So any kind of silver eyeshadow would work. And I'm just going to be placing this on the middle of my eye, really. I'm not going into the inner corner, and I'm not going on to the outer half. Just the inner part of my eye, or the middle, not inner, middle. Don't want to confuse anybody. And I'm making sure it reaches all the way up to where the white stopped as well. Kind of like that. It's really easy, really simple, that part. Next, I'm going to be taking, this is a pigment from MAC, and it's called Rose, and it's a really shimmery pinky red with a little bit of gold, which is going to really contrast the silver and white base that we're using. And the pigment I'm using wet as well, so I'm just dipping my brush in some mixing medium to help get the pigment stuck onto my brush and then onto my eyelid. And I'm going to start this on the outer corner and slowly work it in towards the silver. So I kind of want them to fade together, so it's easier for me when I'm blending or fading things together to just let the product run off of the brush. It seems to be the easiest way for me to do that. But whatever, is easier for you is what you should do. No sense in making things harder. And I'm just kind of blending the rose pigment into the silver from NYX. And this pigment is really going to be our middle color between the silver and the rusty red that we're going to be using in a second. So that's just going to, like I said, be your blending color, I guess. So it looks kind of like that. Then I'm going to be taking from NYX, it's called Rust, and it's a really rusty, pretty red. I'm taking a small brush, and I'm just going to be applying this on the outer corner, right over the rose pigment, because I think the rose pigment really helps to intensify the rust. Right now I'm just kind of creating the eye shape I want, and then I'm going to blend it inwards. Sorry, I like rammed my knee into the side of my dresser. And then I'm going to kind of look at both eyes to see how far I want this red to come in. And I want it to slowly fade right about here, so it looks kind of like that. And I'm going to take a fluffy blending brush, any kind of blending brush would work, and I'm just going to kind of blend out the edges. Like that. And then I'm going to be taking from Ulta, this is just a white, the name got ripped off the back so I can't tell you what color it is, but any kind of frost white would work. And I'm just going to take kind of a big brush like this, and I'm going to apply this right into my highlight. And kind of bring it down to meet up with the red. It's kind of become like a pink at this point. And then I'm going to be taking that silver color from NYX that I started off with, and that's going to go in between the frost and the red, kind of on that line, and then just blending the two together. Then I'm going back in with more rust to go on top. And then lastly, I'm taking any kind of dark charcoal or a dark gray. I'm going to be using the one I always use, my dark charcoal. And I'm going to use the same brush I did to use my highlight, just lightly tapping a little bit on, because I don't want it to show up. I just want to darken up the rust a little bit. So I'm going to go right on the outer corner here, and just kind of darken up the outer edge of the rust. Very lightly. Like so. And I'm still a little bit not happy with the darkness of the red yet, so I'm just adding a little bit more charcoal slowly, just so I can add the right amount of color. And then lastly, I'm going to be taking from MAC. This is called Fine Shell, and it's a very light, shimmery silver. I'm taking a tiny, tiny little brush like this, and I'm going to put the fine shell on the inner corner and tear duct area of my eye to really pull the colors. So I'm going to go ahead and apply some liquid liner and some mascara, and then so I'm going to just let you guys see what the eyes look like. It's pretty simple, pretty easy, so I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope it was helpful, and I will see you guys very soon.